let's start with the very important topic as to how arrays are actually handled when it comes to C language. So last time we took a very simple example wherein what we did was we created an array and we accepted 10 values and we displayed them in the reverse order. That was more of a syntax as to how do you access elements of an array. Today I will actually go into details to help you understand how exactly arrays are handled when it comes to C language. That means how actually we go ahead accessing those elements inside an array is what we will be discussing. So before we go ahead discussing how those elements are accessed, what I plan to do is give you an introduction to concept of pointers, because without pointers we cannot understand this particular concept. So although we are discussing arrays, it's time for us to switch to pointers. You may be wondering, sir, we have just started discussing arrays and why are we moving to pointers? Because array cannot be understood without understanding concept of pointers. So let's have a quick introduction to concept of pointers, and from pointers we'll again come back to concept of arrays. So we'll have a very quick introduction to what exactly the concept of pointers are. Because pointers, why am I talking about pointers again and again over here? Because array names in C are pointers. Now if there are pointers, we should have basic understanding of concept of pointers. And without pointers, you will not understand how elements of an array are being accessed. You will be wondering, what am I saying? You will understand as I go ahead discussing this particular concept. So to understand how you access elements in an array, you have to have basic understanding of concept of pointers. So today we'll start with very important topic called as pointers. Do not feel that this is a diversion from the existing topic. This is just to understand this existing topic in a much better way. So let's start with a very short introduction to concept of pointers. So what we plan to discuss is a concept of pointers today. So let's start with this very short introduction to concept of pointers. So what are pointers? They're special types of variables. And what do these variables store? These variables store address of another variable. So if these variables do not store value, we have integer variable which can store integer value, we have character variable which can store a character, we have a double variable which can store a double, but these pointers do not store character, integer, double, and so on. Then what do they store? They only store addresses. Now whose addresses they store? They may store address of any kind of variable. Today, we can create a pointer which can store address of character, but point is, they are not storing values. What they are storing is addresses. That's something which is very important for us to understand. So pointers are special types of variables which store address of another variable and they do not store any value. So if you look at the syntax, it says date type star pointer variable name. This syntax is a lot of times misinterpreted. If I have to say int star ptr, so people say it's an integer pointer. If I say char star ptr, people say it's a character pointer. No, we cannot have character pointer, integer pointer, float pointer. Rather, this date type does not create different types of pointers. Rather, this date type is not, because pointers are pointers. All pointers are of same size. All pointers are actually of same type pointers because they are all holding address. They all hold the address, and addresses do not have any type. Addresses do not have a type. So even if you look at the size of the pointer, char star ptr, int star ptr, double star ptr, all pointers will be of same size. The size of the pointer is not going to vary because after all they store address. Today at a particular address, an integer variable may have been stored. Tomorrow at the same address, a float variable may get stored. So earlier we had stored the address of that particular variable in a pointer which was pointing to integer. Next time we'll have to store in a pointer which is pointing to float. So what does the data specify? The data specifies the type of the variable whose address this pointer can store. It is not the type of the pointer. Listen to very carefully. It's not the type of the pointer. It is the type of the variable to which that pointer can point to. So data specifies the type of the variable whose address the pointer variable can store. So when I say int star ptr, that means that pointer is going to store address of integer. Do not read it as it's a pointer, it is integer pointer. No, it is a pointer to an integer. It can store address of an integer and so on. If I say, and the pointer variable name, that's just an identifier. Whatever the rules of identifiers, all those rules are applicable over here also. Char, if I use float, if I use double, I use, they are date types. Variable name, I, J, K, ptr, you should always use meaningful names. They are just identifier. They'll identify the location in the memory where that pointer variable has been stored. And what is stored at that location? Address. Kiska address? What is the date type? Any variable of that type. So let's take some examples. Let's take some examples to understand this particular concept. Here I go. I have created a variable int I equal to 10. I'll explain certain things with help of an example and then we'll go back to node. I'm saying int I, just give me a minute. I'm saying int I equal to 10. Now when I say int I equal to 10, int is a date type, I is a variable name. So how do we read this? We say I is an identifier, Okay, as an identifier. Identifier means it will refer to some location memory where what is stored, an integer type of value is stored, and what is that value? 10. So when I define the, when I write this statement int I equal to 10, what's actually going to happen? Let's have a look at this. When I write such a statement, what is going to happen? So I'm writing a statement. I have written a statement saying int I equal to 10. So that's the statement that we have written. So while we write this statement, what's actually happening in the memory? What's actually happening? We are inside function main. So we are on the stack frame of function main. So what's going to happen inside stack function of function main, frame of function main? So in the memory, somewhere, a block of memory will be somewhere, some address. So let's say take some address. So there is, let's take some address. Hypothetically, I'll take some address. Say there is some address, say as OXFFFF. There is some address called as OXFFFF. This address OXFFFF has now been given a name called as I. What am I saying? That block has now been given a name called as I. Has now been given a name called as I. That's just a name that has been given to that block of memory. Which memory? Address number OXFFF has now been given a name as I. And starting from that address, some amount of memory has now been reserved. Starting from that address, some amount of memory has now been reserved. So starting from that address, some memory has now been reserved. So let's draw this picture again. And so starting from that address, starting from address OXFFF, some amount of memory has been reserved. How much memory has been reserved? That will be specified by this date type. So since we are saying int, so starting from this address, 4 bytes of memory will be reserved. If I said char, starting from this address, 1 byte of memory will be reserved. If I say float, 4 bytes, double, 8 bytes, and so on. And then you have also used initializer equal to 10. Now, since you have also used initializer, this block of memory will also be initialized. This block of memory will also be initialized with value as 10. So this is precisely what has happened when I write statement int I equal to 10. I'll read it once again. When I write such a statement saying int I equal to 10, what's happening? Some address has been given a name as I. Starting from that address, certain amount of memory is being reserved. How many bytes of memory is reserved? That is specified by this date type. So since it is date type of integer, starting from this address, 4 bytes of memory has now been reserved. Starting from this address, 4 bytes of memory has been reserved. And that block of memory has been given a name as I. And it has been initialized with value as 10. So what we have created integer variable I. Likewise, had I created integer variable j, similar something, another block of memory will be reserved, and so on. So this is precisely what has happened. This is precisely what has happened. Let's go back to the program. So when I say int I equal to 10, what happened was a block of memory has been reserved, address has been given a name, address has been given a name as I. Starting from that address, 4 bytes of memory has been reserved. Starting from that address, 4 bytes of memory has been reserved, and that block of memory has been initialized with value as 10. Similarly, we have created another variable which has been initialized with value as 20. Another variable which has been initialized with value as 20. How do I read this? J is a variable, that means an identifier. It will identify the location memory where this integer type of value 20 has now been stored. Then what am I saying? What is this? U int ptr t. What is this? U int ptr t. What is this? It's a date type. Now where do you get this date type? This date type has been defined standard int.h. So have I included standard int.h in my program? Have I included standard int.h? Let's see, have I included standard int.h? I have taken int types.h. That's also okay. Int types.h will also provide you a lot of new data types which are there. These are additional types that has now been defined over here. Okay, can you see this? Int, max kind of thing. Various other data types have now been defined over here. But this is coming from standard int.h. So is this including standard int.h? There may be some statement that will include standard int.h. Can you see that? Standard int.h. So I have included int types.h, that has included a header file called as standard int.h, and standard int.h has defined this data type called as unsigned int 64 byte. So how do I read this? I'm saying this is not of 64 bytes, it's an unsigned integer of pointer type. That means this variable k is large enough. How large enough? As big as your pointer variables are there. So in your program, so for you to understand this, what I'll do is I'll just print the sizes of the variable so that you'll have some understanding as to what is the difference between this particular variable and this particular variable. What's the difference? So I print the size. I say printf size of int %d bytes, comma, I call operator size of, I say size of I. Yeah, I is a variable of that type. Likewise, I am interested in knowing size of this particular type. What's the size of this type? This is definitely not integer. This is definitely not integer. And we have this variable k. We have this particular variable k. So let's debug this particular code from this point and see, just to see the size. What is the size difference that we get to see here? While one is of integer type whose size is 4 bytes, we know that. And another variable I have created. Why am I creating that variable? Let me know. I want to have a variable k which is as big as your pointer variable, which is as big as your pointer variable in terms of size. So here we go. We are printing this size, and what should I have done is, for this thing, the output to get displayed, it is gone in only into the buffer. Let me just say /n over here and /n over here. So let's debug the code once again. Let's debug the code once again. F7 and F8. I should press F8 if I just want to skip over and move ahead. Here we go. We print first. It says size of int is 4 bytes. And for what is size of this unsigned int ptr? Watch it. It's 8 bytes. So while your integer was of size 4 bytes, this unsigned integer pointer type is of size 8 bytes. So when I say 8 bytes, it's not a pointer variable though. It's not a pointer variable. It's a variable which is large enough. How large? Is as large as your pointer variable. It's as large as your pointer variable. It can store any unsigned integer value. Unsigned integer value. It's a pointer type of as large as your pointer type of variable. So if you go ahead and check over here, so it's unsigned integer pointer declared, type def. This particular type underscore c so and so has now been given a name as uint ptr underscore t. That's the name that has now been given. Unsigned integer pointer type t that has now been declared. So this particular variable is large enough. How large enough? It's large enough to store an address. So in your RAM, whatever maybe your here I given, this is an unsigned integer type capable of holding a pointer. Now when I say capable of holding a pointer, rather I should say capable of holding any address. That would be the more appropriate way to talk about. So we say we have created a variable k. How large is it? It is as large as your pointer variable, and it can hold any value that you can store in a pointer. That big number can be stored. Why am I saying large value? Because you may have 8 MB RAM, 8 GB RAM, you may have 16 GB RAM, and kind of. So your variable will be stored at some location. So whatever is the memory location where the variable has been stored, it's always virtual addresses. But whatever is the address where the variable has been stored, that address is nothing but a number which identifies where that particular variable has been stored in the memory. So that is just the location of the byte in the memory where that variable has now been stored. In the last example, I said OXFFFF. So when I'm saying OXFFFF, what was that OXFFFF? That was nothing but address, the location of that byte in the memory. So this particular variable is large enough to store any address, means location of any byte in the memory. Okay, and address is nothing but a number which identifies location of that particular byte in the memory. That's how what it is. So I have created a variable unsigned integer type capable of holding a pointer. And for you to use this particular type, I have included a header file called as int types.h. Okay, let's go ahead. And I say ptr int star ptr. So what am I saying? I'm saying I'm creating a pointer variable called as ptr. Okay, why pointer variable? Because there is a star. So ptr is a variable of what type? Pointer type. What can it hold? It can hold address of any variable of type integer. Currently, it is not pointing anywhere. So if your pointer is not pointing anywhere, you can just take this address as OX0. X value 0. That means nothing. So currently this pointer is not pointing anywhere. So I could create a pointer, initialize it to null. Null is an address which says nothing, void star, address of nothing. So there is no address. But now I can store address of variable j. So there is one variable j whose address I have stored into ptr2, whose address I have stored into ptr2. So ptr2 is now pointing to variable j. It's storing address of variable j. So ptr2 is a variable. What type of variable? Pointer. It can store address of any variable of type integer. Kya j integer type of variable hai kya? Yes. So integer type of variable has address has now got stored into ptr2. So we have two variables, ptr1 and ptr2. One storing address of I, other storing one is not storing any address. The other is storing address of variable j. Here we go. We have a character variable which is storing value as a. We have pointer to character. This is a pointer to an integer because this pointer variable can store address of an integer, whereas this particular pointer can store address of a character. So whatever may be the case, so it can store. Now, how was this k? K was large enough to store address of large enough to hold a pointer. Look at this, k was large enough to hold a pointer. So it's an unsigned integer type capable of holding a pointer. So pointer means pointer store addresses. So what do? I say k is equal to address of j. K is equal to address of j. How big is k? We saw 8 bytes. 8 bytes is large enough to store address of variable k. If I show you the address of that particular variable k, it's not going to be that large. So if I, for some reason, whatever I would like to store the address, let's see what's the address of variable k. If I go into debug, I say watch window, and I add a watch saying I want to have address of j. But when I say address of j, it's giving me hex value. So let's typecast as integer and see what's the address of j as an int. So if I write a statement to get address of variable j, I say where int address of j. So let's say instead of int, let me say long address of j. So this is the address that we have. It's 429449539, whatever the maybe number. It's not even 10-digit number. So this particular number can be very easily stored in a variable whose size is 8 bytes. Although your variable k is large enough to store this particular address, if you make an attempt to store address inside that particular variable, and if I compile this particular statement, let's see what happens. Does it generate any warning? It says warning. It says assignment makes integer from pointer without a cast. So integer from pointer. So that means this is giving you address. You are trying to assign a pointer to a normal variable. That's illegal. And I have taken this address. So let me take this particular value. What was the value? Let us copy. It is 429.4953.920. So I'll just write it over here. Okay, it was 429.53.920. That's a very large number. But even if this is a large number, if I had taken this particular large number, and if I had tried to store that particular large number over here, okay, by saying it's a unsigned long value, and if I had compiled this particular code once again, it would generate an error warning for the previous statement. It will generate a warning for this statement. It is not generating a warning for this statement because k is large enough to hold this particular value, but not address. So if this is a number, k can store that particular number because it is an unsigned integer type capable of holding pointer. That means whatever is the address stored in pointer, that number it can store, but it cannot store address because k is not a pointer. Pointers are special types of variable which can store address, cannot store value. And your normal variables are variables, they can store value, they cannot store address. So this particular variable, it cannot store address. This particular variable is not large enough for you to store address. It's large enough. It can store that particular number 4294. It cannot store address 4294. There could be a variable which is stored address number 10. This particular variable k cannot store address 10, can store value 10. So normal variables can store value, and only pointer variables can store address. Normal variables can store values. Pointer variables can store address. So if I try and store address, it's a warning. If I store same address represented by that value, that's okay. But what I cannot store over here is the address. So one thing that you should understand is, to store address, we require the special types of variables called as pointer variables. To store address, we require the special type of variables. On the other way around, if I have a pointer, this pointer cannot store this particular value. Listen, pointer cannot store this value. Normal variable cannot store address, and pointer variable cannot store this particular value. So if I try and compile this particular statement, that will also generate an error. Look at this. This is also generating error. So while your pointer variables cannot store value, your normal variables cannot store address, and address is actually the same value. So if I try and store the same address of j, that's okay. So pointer can store address 4294, but cannot store value 4294. Your normal variable can store value 4294, cannot store address 4294. If anybody has a question, please ask before I go ahead. So to store address, we require special types of variables called as pointers. Normal variables can store values, small or large, they can store values. Pointer variables can store address, small or large, near address or address at a large, far location. But pointer variables can store only address, they cannot store value. Pointer can store address 500, but value 500 it cannot store. Normal variable can store value 500, but address 500 it cannot store. So what we understood, normal variables cannot store address, normal variables can store only values. Okay. Likewise, pointer variables cannot store normal values, they can only store address. although size of k and size of ptr was exactly same, both of them are of 8 bytes, but k can store large value and pointer can store large or small address. It cannot store values. Here we go. Now what am I doing? Pointer cannot store address, can store address, cannot store value, but I can very well convert this particular value. I can very well convert this particular value, which is an unsigned integer type value, a long type value. I can convert this particular value to an address of type integer. So if you say this is not value, it's an integer ka address, then that's okay. Then pointer can point to it. Likewise, this particular statement was giving you address of variable j, and this is the same address in decimal system. If this was giving address of j, we could not store address of j into k. Okay, so what I could do is I could say this address of j is what? It's that variable type, which unsigned integer pointer variable type. That means a variable which is large enough to hold pointer. So if I convert this address to a value, k can store that. Let's compile this statement and see, does it generate a warning or error at any of those two statements? It's perfectly all right. So I can convert. This is what C does. Any conversion is allowed. So actually this is not a right kind of conversion. I'm converting a value to an address over here, and here I'm converting an address to a value. C says you are the boss. You can convert anything to anything. So here I converted value to address, and here I'm converting address to a value. But since you have converted this address to a value, it's a value now. Value can be assigned to a normal variable k. And it was a value, but since you have converted this value to an address, pointer variable can store address. Point is, pointers can store address. You can convert a value to address, and you can convert address to a value. It's completely your choice. Okay. So although these are not very good kind of statements to write, but C allows you to convert anything to anything. C types of conversion, anything to anything can be converted. You are the boss. You can convert literally anything to even incompatible things also you can convert. You can convert some user-defined type called as dog to another user-defined type called as car. You can say dog is a car. That's also okay. You can convert anything to anything. PTR1 is storing address of I. Now let's come back to a statement. PTR1 is storing address of j. Now PTR1 is storing address of I. That means pointer earlier was pointing you to one location. Later it can point to some other location. So it's not necessary that the pointer throughout its life has to point to the same variable. They are variables. They are variables. When I use the word variable, this particular variable has been initialized with address of j. Okay, this was initialized with null, no address. And here I am assigning one address. Here I am assigning, it's not a constant variable. So I can change its address that is stored in the pointer variable. So pointers are also variables. If this was a variable, if this was a variable, this was a variable, this is also a variable. Difference is, it's a pointer variable. So pointer variable will not store value. They will store address of variable of type integer. Since I said integer, this particular pointer variable will store address of type character, but they are variable. That means the address stored in them can change. So earlier, PTR1 was storing address of j. Now PTR1 can store address of variable I. Like int I equal to 10, I can say first, and then I can say I equal to 50. That's allowed. They are variables. The value stored inside them can actually be changed. So that's precisely what we have done over here. Pointer has now pointed somewhere else. I has value 10, j has value 20. And then I print size of PTR2 and size of CPTR. Array, CPTR was a pointer to a character. Array, character variable may be of 1 byte. Pointer variable may have 4 bytes. Integer variable may have 4 bytes. Array, pointers are always of size 8 bytes. Because pointers are not storing a small value or large value. They are actually storing address. And the address can be a small number or it can be a large number also. Because virtual memory, when the compiler decides where the address has to be, variable has to be stored, we never know which address will be made available for your variable. So in that case, the address can be any addressable address location. So size of pointer, even if it's pointer to character or pointer to integer, both of them are going to be the same thing. So pointers, all pointers are of same size. I'll go ahead one step further. All pointers are of same type, because all pointers are pointer type. They store only addresses. They do not store values. So even if we jump over here and if I print size of PTR2 or if I print size of CPTR2, what's the statement? Size of PTR pointer to integer is 8 bytes and size of pointer to character is also 8 bytes. So all pointers are of same size. All pointers are of same size. There is no difference between the size of a pointer variable. All pointers are of same size. Then I print the value of variable I. I print the value of variable I. So when I print the value of variable I, let's see what happens. Let me debug the code once again. Here we go. We print value of variable I. So what's the value of variable I? Let's see. Value of variable I is 10. Here we go. We print size of both the pointer variables. Note, so both the pointer variables are of size 8 bytes. Then I print value of variable I. Value of variable I is 10. Then I say address of I. Now, to print address, what should we do? Now, here I printed size of the variable. Note, to get the size, I used format specifier called as ZU. Now, this particular variable I is giving me address. But I showed you in the watch window, addresses are normally shown in hex. I do not want hex addresses. They are difficult for me to read. So I want to print the address in a decimal system. So why not convert that address to a value? So I have converted that address to a value of what type? U int unsigned int pointer type. So unsigned int pointer type, why am I not converting it to integer? Array, the answer is very obvious. If I say integer, do we have integer which is this big? We do not have integer which is of 10-digit number starting from 4. So if I do that, it will go into conversion, even implicit conversion. It will convert and it will give you some value, which may not be the right, at times negative also. Remember, if you go beyond the largest integer, we go into the negative value, it will go into cycle. So there is loss of data that can happen. C allows you to convert anything to anything, but loss of data can happen. So I'm taking a variable which is large enough. How large? As big as your pointer. So what am I doing? This is address of variable I. To print address, I'm using %p. To print size, we produce %zu. That's also not a very good choice. I can take another format code also. But to print address, which I have converted to a value, what am I saying? I say pri u ptr. Now let me explain you pri u ptr. Pri, that means print unsigned value of what? Pointer. So you print pointer as unsigned value inside pri. Pri means printf. Scanf mein to you will have to go ahead with SCI and so on. So these are predefined format specifiers which are there. Henceforth, keep in mind, if you want to print address in decimal system, don't use %d. I'll print %d and show you how wrong answer you will get. Now I'm using pri u ptr. So I'm saying for print, pri means for printing printf ke liye unsigned value. This is unsigned value. What type? Pointer type. It's unsigned value of pointer type. Value of pointer type. So if I print this particular address, the value in decimal system, have you got that number that we had earlier copied over here? We had copied that particular number. Address can be different, but that large number, this time address is different. So this address, OXFFFF, that's the actual address in hex. And this is the decimal equivalent of that particular value. Now, let me do one thing for you. Something wrong what people end up doing. To print address also, they print to in decimal system. So they say %d, because d for decimal system. Now, if I use %d to print the same address, let's see what address do we get. It will go into cycle. It will go into cycle and you will go to get a wrong value. Here I go. Let's debug the code once again. So you should also know how to print address. Some very basic concepts, but we should know. Let's print the value and see. It says address is minus. Will you ever in your life have address as minus? And this particular number represents a minus value? Impossible. This is a hex value that represents some large number. How can you say this is this particular value is this is the value that we have, and this is the address in hex. And if I convert this into decimal system, if I convert this into decimal, if I say hex to decimal, if I say hex to decimal, and if I give the hex number, and if I say convert, can you see this number? This is what we have. And in 2's complement, if I take sine 2 like an integer, what am I getting? Minus 13172. Is this what we really wanted to have? No. And that is what we have actually got over here. I want that value not to be considered to be of type int. I want it to be considered as an address. Large number has to be printed. So you cannot ever, or you should not ever print address by using format code %d. It at times may work as long as your address was not beyond 2⁻31 - 1. Our address can be beyond 2⁻31 - 1. That's precisely what we're having. So what will I use? I'll say priu. What will I say? I'll say pri. That's printf में use करना है. U unsigned value of what? Pointer type. So that's the format code. And note how are we using that for %, and double quotes में you let us say priu ptr is what we let us say. Likewise for size also we can use something in there else. I'll just show you as we go ahead here. So if I want to print address as a value, use priu ptr in double quotes. That will print your address as a value. That will print your address as a value. So we have printed that particular address. So that's an address where your variable has got stored. Variable I has got stored. You can take it in hex or you can take it in decimal, whatever it is. But this is an address. This is an address where your variable I has got stored. This is in decimal system and this is in hex numbering system. That address has got printed. So talking about variable j, we are talking about I. How about variable j? Our variable j ka value is 20. Okay, and where is it stored? Or it is also stored at this address. Look at this. This is 24 and this is 20. That means the gap between them is only of 4 bytes, or each of them is of 4 bytes. Luckily, they have got stored one after another. So gap between them is exactly of 4 bytes. This is CBC4 and this is CBC0. So these variables have got stored. Now, our pointers are also variables. They will also be stored at some address. So they will also have address. So I'm going to print address of PTR1, address of PTR2 as well. So if I print address of PTR1, what's address of PTR1? Address of PTR1 CBB8. That's 429494, okay, 953912. Look at the gap now. 12. Look at this. 24, 20. How much is the gap? 4 bytes. 20 and 12. How much is the gap? 8 bytes. That means from 12 to 19, 8 bytes. 12 to 19, count 8 bytes. Whereas this is from 20 to 23, and this is from 24 to 27, 4 bytes. 24, 25, 26, 27. So this is the base address. So when we talk about addresses, this address are only the base address. You do not get all the 4 addresses. Your integer variable is stored across 4 bytes. Pointer is stored across 8 bytes. So when I say address of that particular variable, I'm not going to get all the 8 bytes address. I'm going to get the starting address, base address. Starting from that location, that many bytes of memory has been allocated. So 902 से 912 से लेके 919 तक your PTR1 has been stored. 920 से लेके 923 तक J has been stored. 924 से लेके 927 तक I has been stored. So that these are the base address of your variables. One after another variables have got stored. Obviously, when I say PTR2, कम से कम 8 byte का gap तो रहेगा ही रहेगा, even if it's there in continuous location. Can you see that? If this was starting from 912, so this is from starting from 904, तो 904 से लेके 911 तक 8 bytes. 904 से लेके 911 तक 8 bytes. So these variables have got stored. Okay. Another interesting thing that you should notice is this address is divisible by 4, whereas this address is divisible by 8. Pointers का alignment is 8 bytes and your integer variable का alignment is 4 bytes. Any time you will never have integer variable which is stored as address which is not completely divisible by 4. Here number is completely divisible by 4. This is completely divisible by 4, whereas this is completely divisible by 8. It has to be completely divisible by 8. That's something called as word alignment. I print what is stored in PTR1. And what is PTR1 storing? If you watch this carefully, PTR1 was storing address of variable I, whereas PTR2 was storing address of variable J. And we just now printed address of J. Address of J ये है, address of I ये है, ये PTR1 का एड्रेस है, ये PTR2 का एड्रेस है, बट पॉइंटर्स आर स्पेशल वेरिएबल्स विच स्टोर एड्रेस. तो इस पॉइंटर 1 में ये वैल्यू स्टोर है, एड्रेस स्टोर है. इस पॉइंटर PTR2 में एट दिस लोकेशन दिस एड्रेस इज स्टोर. सो पॉइंटर्स आर स्पेशल वेरिएबल्स विच स्टोर एड्रेसेस. Pointers are special types of variables which store addresses. So let's jump at this particular location and see what is that we are getting now. So as we go ahead, I print where are we right now? Let's see, where are we? We print PTR1, value of PTR1. What is value of PTR1? 924. और 924 किसका एड्रेस था? 924 was address of I. तो value of PTR1 is address of I. PTR1 का एड्रेस 912 है और उसके अंदर क्या स्टोर है? तो 924, एंड 924 क्या है? तो एड्रेस ऑफ वेरिएबल I. तो जस्ट टू पुट इट अक्रॉस डायग्रामेटिकली, इफ दिस इज द एड्रेस ऑफ PTR1, लेट्स से PTR1 का एड्रेस है 3912. लेट्स से PTR1 का एड्रेस है 3912. हाँ, watch it everybody. We'll just put across with the help of a diagram. If PTR, I'll just copy these statements for me. We had these variables and we saw the addresses. Now looking at this address, what interpretation we can make? Looking at these addresses, we can make one interpretation. We can interpret something. Okay, we can also go on to draw a visual map of this. So if this is the locations that we have, address of I is, let's say let's take only the last 4 digits. It is suppose 3942. I'll put address in decimal system so that you do not have any doubt. You don't get confused. So I'll say the address is 3942. 3942. I'm just putting the last 4 bytes. That's address of variable I. We also had another variable called as J. We also had another variable called as J. So let me draw one more box saying this is the address of another variable called as J. That's another variable called as J. And let's say this is variable called as J. This is variable called as J. This is variable called as J. What's the address of this particular variable? Array address of this particular variable j is, what's address of j? 3920. 3920. So 3920 is address of variable j. Value of I was 10. What's the value of variable j? Value of variable j is 20. Okay, watch it carefully. Yeah? Value of variable j is 20. So this is how the scene is. I'll just reduce the box so that we'll have some space to draw the other pictures. So assume these are 4 bytes. Huh? Assume these are 4 bytes. So this is your variable I spread across 4 bytes. This is variable j spread across 4 bytes. This is from 420, 42, 42. I copied the wrong address. Address of I 42 नहीं है, 24 है, 3924 है, 3924. So 24, 25, 26, 27. These are 4 bytes, and this is 20, 21, 22, 23. J. Then we have PTR1 and PTR2. That means we have additional 2 variables. We have additional 2 variables, PTR1 as well as PTR2. So let's draw additional 2 variables. We have one variable called as PTR1, that's of 8 bytes. And we have another variable called as PTR2, that's also of size 8 bytes. So I'm just taking a larger variable. Huh? So this is your variable called as PTR1. This is your variable called as PTR1. Whereas this is your another variable called as PTR2. This is another variable called as PTR2. So these are 2 pointer variables that we have. What is stored inside PTR2? PTR1. PTR1 is storing address of I. Look at this. This address of variable I. PTR1 is storing 3942. PTR1 is storing 3942 to a 3924. 3924 is address of variable I. 3924 is address of variable I. So what is PTR2 storing? It's storing address of variable I. We did not run the next statement, but that's address. I'll explain. 3924. And what is PTR1 storing? PTR2 storing? PTR storing address of variable j. Address of variable j क्या है? 3920. So this is the scene. So we have a pointer variable. We have a pointer variable PTR1. We have a pointer variable called as PTR1. We have a pointer variable called as PTR1, and that's storing address of variable I. We have pointer variable PTR2 that's storing address of variable j. ऐसा कुछ तो है. तो normal variables are storing values. Normal variables are storing values. Pointer variables are storing address. अरे pointer variables themselves also have an address because वो भी तो variable है, उनका भी तो कोई address रहेगा. तो PTR1 का address क्या है? 3912. 3912. It's a variable, so it will also have an address. Likewise, PTR2 का address क्या है? अरे PTR2 will also have an address. उसका है 3904. 3904. Now everybody should understand. If anybody has a question over here, let me know. PTR1 खुद का address है 3912. PTR2 का address है 3904. PTR1 is storing address of variable I. PTR2 is storing address of variable J. This is the case that we currently have. Let's switch to our program. So we are printing PTR2 में क्या है? What is there in PTR2? Let's check it out. What's there in PTR2? So if you see what's there in PTR2, PTR2 में क्या है? 3920. What is 3920? 3920 was address of J. तो while PTR2 के अंदर की value is address of variable J, PTR1 के अंदर की value is address of variable I. Address of variable I. PTR1 का भी कोई address है और PTR2 का भी कोई address है. So pointers are special types of variables which hold addresses. They do not hold value. And now I'm going to say star PTR1 and star PTR2. So this is an operator. This operator is called as a dereferencing operator. It will dereference. यानी PTR2 में जो address है उस address पर की value. PTR2 में जो address है उस address पर की value. If I do that, let's see what do we get. PTR star PTR1, what did we get? Star PTR, when I say I got value as 10, and when I'm saying star PTR2, let's see what value do we get. We got value as 20. Why did this thing happen? Let's have a look at this statement, what we had. So we are talking about our whiteboard. So what is stored in PTR1? Watch it. PTR1 mein, what's the value of PTR1? 3924. If I print PTR1, I'll get 3924. If I print PTR2, I'll get 3920. But if I say star PTR1, value stored at the address stored in the pointer variable. PTR1 is storing 3924. What is the value at that location? 10. If I say star PTR2, what is the value address stored in PTR2? 3920. What is the value at that location? 20. So this is called as dereferencing. When I use that star PTR, so it will give you value that is stored at the inside that at the address stored in the pointer variable. So address stored in the pointer variable is 3924. If I say PTR1, I'll get this address. If I say star PTR1, I'll get the value at this address. Value at that address is 10. If I say PTR2, I'll get this 3920. If I say star PTR2, value at this address. Value at that address is value as 20. Is that what we'll get? Now I say star PTR1. Star ptr1 means what? Ptr1 is having address of I. Ptr1 is having address of I. Star ptr1 will give value as 10. So 10 into 10 becomes 20. Where am I storing that value? Not into ptr1, star ptr1. Ptr1 is having that address. Ptr1 is having this address. Ptr1 address क्या है? 3924. Ptr1 address क्या है? 3924. I'm saying star ptr1 means value at this address is equal to star ptr1 into 10. 10 into 10 is 100. So here instead of 10, what will get stored is value as 100. So I'm going to change this particular value from 10 to value as 100 now. I'm going to change this value to from 10 to 100 by writing what statement? By writing this statement. Star ptr equals star ptr into 10. When I write this particular statement, let's proceed further. Here we go. And I print star ptr1. So if I print star ptr1, look what we have got. 100. ptr1 address student ptr is 3912. 3912 address of ptr is 3912. Value of ptr is 3924. ptr1 का value देखो, value of ptr1 ना, value of ptr1 is 3924, and that 3924 happens to be address of variable I. So when I say star ptr1, that means at this address, what I'd like to store, whatever is the value at that address, 10 into 10, that now becomes 100. So we have altered the value of the variable without using variable name. आज तक आप जब भी variable की value access करते थे, we had only one way to access the value of a variable, that was by using variable name. Now we are accessing the value of the variable indirectly by using a pointer. So value of a variable can be accessed in two ways, by using variable name or by using pointer. So now we have accessed the value of that variable by using pointer. So let's see what's value of variable I. Array, value of variable I is 100. It has got changed indirectly. I now say plus plus star ptr1. We have to be very careful to understand this particular statement. Plus plus star ptr1. Now when I say plus plus star ptr1, plus plus operator has to increment the value. किसकी वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट कर रहा है? स्टार ptr1 की. ptr1 की नहीं, स्टार ptr1. स्टार ptr1 is I. Star ptr1 is I. So we are incrementing the value that is I. Okay. If that's the case, let's see what happens. Value at the address stored in ptr1, it was 100. Now what do we get value? It gets 101. I की value क्या है? That has also got changed to 101. So when I wrote a statement saying, plus plus star ptr1, that is what I have written. इसका interpretation कैसे हो रहा है? Plus plus of star ptr1. ऐसे ब्रैकेट्स मुझे डालने की जरूरत क्यों नहीं है? Because this star operator prefix है and it is having higher precision than plus plus. If that's the case, तो ये plus plus के पहले star ptr1 is coming to action. तो when I'm saying plus plus के पहले star ptr prefix है, that is coming to action. तो star ptr1, तो plus plus is operating not on ptr1, it is operating on star ptr1. So this is how you'll have to interpret that. This is how you'll have to interpret it. So when you wrote this statement, interpretation was something like this. So plus plus has incremented a value of ptr1 नहीं, value of star ptr1. Star ptr1 नहीं है, star ptr1 is I. So it has now incremented the value of variable I. Thank you all. Let's proceed. So we stop here today and we continue with a further discussion. Next session is again going to be a deep dive into some advanced concepts.